left over from the long history. You could have had it. I just threw it away. Okay. I'm sorry. Well, and you have to I mean, it was kind of weird. Well, you know, but I wouldn't have researched the running around with you. Yeah.
We're thinking about trying to do anything with the phone.
Well, no, maybe I did. Maybe I did give it to some of the people that I knew was just all picked over. And they ain't everyone.
Phone calls and stuff everything.
You know. But no, you have been well home here. Yes, we are. I'm doing a break class on Thursday. Yeah. Well, we haven't been on YouTube much, but I've got to get back on it. My mom and so we're just really taking a break. We're doing a long break. Both of us have had different health things go on, and Tom's really busy. And to pay the bills, you know. And so, you know, he's the one that does all the editing. I can go live and everything. But don't start. We're going to do lots of hang out. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning.
Okay. Are you going home this year too? Yeah. 8:45. Stacy said don't start.
We're running behind, so don't be right at 8:45 because we're going to welcome everybody and hang out for a second.
So you want us all in
We're like
there?
we're like 5 minutes, 10 minutes behind.
I don't know. They didn't answer that question.
Okay, so my little phone doesn't look like it's going to work this morning here anyway. Started to, and then I got a phone call, and then I still disrupted it, so I'm being stubborn.
Probably run off the train.
Golden Ohio Homestead, County News Station, Utah. Good morning.
Yeah, he said everybody's going to
North Montana, good morning.
So I guess we all go inside.
North White Chicken Fan, and Grandma.
Stacy wanted to talk, so they wanted to.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make this go. Yeah, and then they're just going to do all the
All right, I'm going to go inside for a welcome, and then I'll be right back out.
run into.
Move the schedule over here a little bit. I'm gonna go from what you guys say. I can zoom in and out and the speakers up here. I would have a difficult time trying to follow them because it's very difficult to see in the sunlight out here. There's a lot of sun. I encourage you folks out and get your phone out in the sun or anything like that.
That little sourdough
Can't see.
Is it?
I don't know.
It is. It's very
It looks like it's got the starter with it. Because this is how to rehydrate the starter. Are they?
You know what?
As you guys can see, Sherry is front and center for Patty's sourdough class here.
So, does anybody else?
That's my target practice.
We're gonna do a little hoo-ha on the stage, and then Alderman will be right out to do the sourdough stuff, okay? We're just gonna say good morning to everybody and all that. Then she'll be right back out, unless you guys wanna come in.
I've never tried tater tail.
So I'm guessing you folks probably heard that.
They run off.
Quick good morning thing inside to everybody. Then Patty will be out and her class will be starting. But we're going to stick right here with you. If I had lots more money and lots more equipment, I could have things set up inside and outside. But the inside's a lot more difficult. It would require a lot of wireless gear. It is. That stuff gets to be expensive.
And you don't need a refrigerator.
This is the stuff. I couldn't just see her. She's with
I'm going to turn the camera in your lower left corner. I'm going to turn that more out for you. See, it's got the whole left side of the screen.
The one right over the bridge.
Presenter's table, not showing anything. So I'm going to show more into the content area now. Obviously, at this point in time, it's still pretty empty, but it is starting to fill.
operate like that. You did that last year. I don't know what we did. Oh, sure.
But it's a nice one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're still.
Hey, Dilly? We don't need one. I know we don't need that. We don't need it. Oh, no, I can fill up 10. Hello.
Focused on homeschooling children. So I only leave it. I mean, I still doing it, but I don't want to poison. So I did that for 3 years, and so I'm, learning new things now. Iowa? Yeah, 3 hours away from here.
Maybe we can get Tommy over here for a couple minutes. Tommy, you got a couple minutes?
Actually, I don't. I'm kind of on the clock as well with my job.
Okay.
I've got an issue I'm waiting on a reply on right now.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Tommy's actually working from here. So
We had the whole shebang, but then once now they're changing, but I'm kind of coming back to,
very unique thing here. You probably see that my screen is absolutely crazy. It's because there's a fly man right on top of the camera.
just,
Shoo them off here. There we go.
when you
So we have a fly over top of the camera.
it's like a different season. Do you know what I mean? And it took me through the years to try to figure out who I am as a homeschool mom. Your whole identity is wrapped up in that. You know what I mean? And so several years to figure out, what my calling is. And so I'm coming back to, yeah, I because my God, it's so much. And flour is what is really, yeah. Yeah. So I was getting ready this morning and I was just tearing up. And now I'm stuck in the rock and hard place. Well, here's the challenge. And I got, but I don't eat these things. Out of a fluke thing that happened. We ended up buying in Wisconsin 2 hours and we built a log cabin. So basically it's this. It doesn't matter if you milk 1 cow or 100 cows, 1 goat or 100 goats. You cannot milk 2 places at once. So if you cannot find someone to take care of your animals and milk them for you, it's one thing throwing out some maybe whole chicken or checking on a rabbit's a couple of days. Milking is twice a day. So I had to get the
It's been just
Thank you very much.
Tom and Becky just are talking inside and I'm listening to them, but Daddy will be out in a second. Okay, you're going to be a little late.
Okay.
So just talk.
Yeah, we are.
But I see much making you run myself.
3 hours south and we got the mountain men right here.
I thought I'd better.
Have you ever heard of them? They're amazing.
But I love this place.
They're coming down the mountainside now. Stacy, don't you run and hide that.
And my dad always every year, so Culver City. And
Can I ask you a question about sourdough? Sourdough. I watched my take.
so one state right now.
Yeah, so
Like that,
that's really if you let it, like I my sourdough, I like to let it go like 3 hours and my one time I did it like 24 hours. That's why sourdough is sourdough bread. You go to a store, it works, and they don't do it like fake stuff. So
I want the bread kits, and so I really feel like I should pay attention to this. And someone told me that I might have to process sourdough bread.
yes, they're gonna like the process right.
Okay, so is she going to talk about how to get it started, or how is she? Because that's all the question. Okay, I didn't know how much you have to go about getting through it.
Owned by a giant corporate. My husband wants to retire to the cabin. I said, well, go ahead. I'll come see you on the weekends. He works in the water industry and he hates it.
Your kids say, look at a really small house that I got. Put you over here on this corner. Just pull out my keys.
Now, we've been homesteading for 20 years, but he's always worked off,
I'm the banjo here.
our money.
The mouth banjo.
It's all hard choices. You know what I mean? You can't have a brand new truck and work on the farm. You know what I mean?
I've been played in a few bars.
Different climate, so my house is kind of controlled in a way.
So you have family and homestead. It's the word.
Well, listen to the jingle that people will. That's why I hit somebody.
I think, you know, really, invention of what connects people. And what I mean is the internet and social media. And the invention of all that has just made us more aware. It's not that it wasn't popular. But I know what you mean, because in my area, my next door neighbors are not. It's like they look at me right, I think you're right, yeah. Right. Yeah, when I first started, I was like, what is that? You know?
Keep missing it.
I watch a few, you know, here and there, but I don't like to follow it. I try to start a page for our cat, and I got people all over the United States that are really like me, because people are really interested in off-grid life in a log cabin and how to do that. They're really interested in that. But I learned the way that Facebook works. I mean, this world is all about money. I mean, it really is. And no one sees my post unless I paid that money to promote that page. It's not paid because people that want really truly want to and make this community. And you could do that. It wouldn't be about somebody told me what to do a group instead. I may end up
Test, 1, 2, 3, test. Can y'all hear me? Hello, can y'all hear me? Everybody? Is that good?
Mike could be done in 2 minutes.
Tommy, can you hear well back there? No? Hello? Test, test. All right, how about this? Can y'all hear me now? A little more?
Yeah.
Can y'all give me more, or do I need to give more? All right, how about this? How's this? Better? Better? Move my mic up. Okay. All right, how about this? Is this better? Okay. I don't like to hear myself like this. I think I'd rather holler. But anyway, I'm Patty from Alderman Farms. And of course, y'all know we're going to make sourdough bread today, and I'm going to talk about starters and stuff like that. I want to have time at the end for questions, but since I'm going to make bread, I would like to go ahead and just dive right into it. I'll be talking about what I'm doing as we're going, but I want to make sure I have time to mix it up and everything. And it is 8:55, so at 9:25, if somebody wants to let me know, well, I really need to stop before that, but anyway, because we're running late, so I'm going to still go 30 minutes, but I don't need to go over that 30 minutes. And we'll be at the booth. If there's any more questions, I'll be glad to talk sourdough with you. I'm going to get my hands washed up right quick, and the bread that I'm doing today is a bread I haven't shared publicly with anybody. It's one that we've been making at home, and it's more kind of like a batter bread. You really don't have to knead it, and we're just loving it. It only has 4 ingredients if you count water. And I'm going to give you the recipe. I do not have it printed anywhere. I meant to print it up for y'all where y'all can take it home, but I forgot. But it's very simple, so if you want to write down the recipe as I give it, feel free to do that. But anyway, and I will be making a video. I teased, we did a quick little YouTube video this morning, and I kind of teased them. I said, you know, y'all are the first ones getting it, but next week or so I'll probably make it and let the YouTube people see it that didn't get to come to the conference. Okay, okay, wait a minute. I got to do this disclaimer first, because I was told that I only make sourdough flavored bread. Because I bake for it's okay. Oh, it's okay. I wasn't upset. She was like, yeah. I understand where people are coming from saying that. I bake for the local farmers market, and because of time constraints, sourdough can take 12 hours for your first rise, and it could take 8 hours for your first rise, and then you're going to put it in loaves, and then that could take 4 hours, that could take 6 hours, that could take 12. It just depends. And so I bake for the local farmers market, and my ferment for my bread is about a 4-hour ferment. I do add commercial yeast to that. All of my recipes you do not have to add yeast to. I do it for where I can plan my time for my farmers market. In doing my research, the lady made me do research. Anyway, the reason you want to do sourdough bread is because it is a fermented bread. It helps to break down the gluten, and it's easier to digest. And and I don't know if I pronounced this word right. I'm sure somebody will tell me sooner or later. It's P-H-Y-T-A-T-E-S, and I'm going to say phytates, something like that. Anyway, by doing the fermented bread, wheat has the phytates in it. And when you do the fermented bread, it actually breaks that down. That actually blocks nutrients from your flour, from your wheat and everything, for your body absorbing it. And so that's why it's good to do the fermented bread. Now, I do, like I said, for the farmer's market, it's only about a 4-hour ferment. Because, now, I'm not my starter. My starter is normal. But as far as my rising times, it's about a total of 4 hours. Well, that only breaks down about 40% of those phytates, And so a longer ferment, if you have gluten issues and everything, or if you have an absorption problem, whatever, a longer ferment's better, And I do a longer ferment when I'm not doing for the farmer's market. So I want to do that disclaimer. And today, it's going to have a full dose of yeast because it needs to rise in about an hour, and the son of a man is going to bake my bread for me. So we're not going to wait till tomorrow to bake bread. So anyway, so that's my disclaimer, but everything I do, you can do without any commercial yeast. Okay, now let's start with the bread. The first thing, you're going to need 1 1/4 cup of water, and it's just, this is just room temperature water, and you can do slightly warm water, that is fine. Okay, and then you're going to put a 1/2 cup of sourdough starter. And we're going to have the wind pick up right when we get started. I'm going to move this thing. I hope it don't make noise or anything. I keep poking myself. Now, okay. All right, and in this recipe, I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of yeast. Just like if I was making white bread, I would put a whole tablespoon of yeast. Now, if you're doing this at home and you want to do this is going to be like if it was white bread, just like white bread, it would be risen in an hour. If you're doing this at home and you want a shorter ferment, but you don't want a fast ferment like white bread, just put 1 teaspoon of yeast. Okay, it'll help. It'll give it a little quickness to it, but it will still have maybe like about a 4-hour ferment on it. Okay, but today I'm doing a whole tablespoon. So this really will be sourdough flavored bread because it's not going to have a long rise time at all. All right, 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt, and I'm going to tell you this that. Stacy brought some salt here, and we have some at the table. It's free for y'all if y'all want to take a little thing of salt home. This is real salt. It's actually mined in Utah. And so I have some. I'm going to start using this and see the difference it makes because it's supposed to have like really good flavor. So this is the first time I've used it in the bread. So right, there's 1. All right, now, that's 3 ingredients, right? Water, sourdough, no, I'm sorry. So that's 4 right there. So there's 5 ingredients, if you count the water. All right, now I'm going to use this nifty thing. This is the first time I've used this. Then this comes out of this Bread Smart, and you can actually get this. Oh, I just saw it, and I asked Stacy. Yes?
Anybody own a Dodge Caravan with Kansas plates?
Dodge Caravan with Kansas
it's just
plates.
blocked and we need to get it moved. Thanks.
All right. Well, anyway, breadsmart.com is where this kit, it's a whole kit. It's what they gave away yesterday. And so Stacy let me use this one today to demonstrate it. And so this is a dough thing. Thank you. Dough whisk. I've never used one before, but for this bread it's going to be perfect too. And you could use it with any bread, but as it gets thicker it may not be so good. But this is more of a batter bread that you don't have to knead. So.
I didn't even get a kick it in the beater.
All right, and if y'all starting to have any questions right now, I'm going to move on to the starter when I get done with this. So, yes, ma'am. 3 cups of flour.
Great question. Perfect time.
5 ingredients and I'm sitting there going, I only got 4 left.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't really count them. I just thought about it and I didn't think clear.
You make this like this, but you don't have to add the yeast.
You do not have to add the yeast, but it's going to be a longer rise time, and it's going to depend on the heat of your house and how strong your starter is. And I go ahead and add 2 cups right away. And I'm going to tell y'all this: I mixed up some earlier where I can put it into the loaf and everything, and I was surprised that at my house in Mississippi the dough was much wetter than here. This is a thicker dough, which I'm glad, because it tends to want to spread, and so I was going to add a little extra flour to this anyway, but judging by how it went earlier this morning, I won't have to add that little extra flour. Also, I don't want to forget to tell you this. This is our favorite bread now. And what I do with this bread, I'll let it have the normal rise and everything without yeast. Let it go ahead and do its first rise. I can take it and stick it in the fridge, and I pull off of it. And then it'll take a little longer to rise. I'll even just pull off of it and go right into making my flatbread. Makes wonderful flatbread. So this is a very versatile. All right, now I've got this good and mixed up like that. It's all mixed up good. Now I'm going to add my second. This thing really works good. I'm going to tell you.
Forgive me for not knowing, but do you have to use white flour? Is that what sourdough is? Or?
No. I'm doing white flour. You can add wheat to it. Wheat usually makes a heavier loaf. Right. Or you can mix it half and half. So, and I'm actually, I've been learning a lot about the different flours. I do some gluten-free, and I have been gluten-free and everything, and I'm wanting to do a little bit more gluten-free bacon or less gluten bacon. And there are so many other flours out there. I'm going to put about half in there right now. And I'm just going to set it back in here. Just for ease of mixing it up, I'm going to put all 3 cups in there. But there's lots of other flours that are very nutritious. Like buckwheat for one, amaranth. I mean, there's a lot of flours that are just very, very nutritious. And so I'm going to start playing with it with my sourdough. I mean, rising times could be different. The density of the loaf. White is going to make your fluffiest, loaf typically. Yes, ma'am. Almond flour. Almond bread. Yes, it will. In fact, I actually made some gluten-free bread, and I look. Almond flour smells amazing, and it actually almond flour helps to aid in retaining moisture, and so my bread turned out really good. I did it's buckwheat, almond, amaranth, and teff. I was just trying for taste and everything, and it wasn't a sourdough. I'm going to be working on sourdough too, with gluten-free. But yeah, almond flour is very nutritious. All right, I'm going to add the rest of my flour. Yes. Well, I buy it at Sam's. This is not the yeast. I just poured it to this little jar. I had to buy it at Walmart one time, and this is the Red Star. Or did I order it? I don't remember. No, I bought it at Walmart. But I typically get it at Sam's, and it's. I want to say, is it Fleshman's? Yeah. That's what I wanted to say, but I was thinking of the margarine or something. Brick. Yeah, in the brick. Yeah, that's what I did.
Hey, I'm sorry, your answer wasn't clear to me about the almond flour. So almond flour can be used for bread, but not for the sourdough.
Well, I haven't personally done it. I'm going to be playing with that throughout the year. But from what I've read, as far as in the gluten-free baking, you wouldn't want to use more than 1/4 of the almond flour. In gluten-free baking, I'm not sure about this sourdough with gluten in it, how it's going to work, but I am going to start experimenting with that kind of stuff. I bought the flour. There's Tommy right there. I bought a lot of flour. That costs a lot of money, so I better be playing big. They're little bags, but go ahead.
Okay, another question. I like sourdough, but I actually don't like a really sour sourdough. What's the correlation between how sour, how long you ferment, how much yeast, what?
Well, I don't either. Don't tell anybody. No, I went up to, I guess I shouldn't say this publicly, and it's recorded.
Edit that out, Daryl.
Anyway, we went up to Michigan last year, and a guy that I know, all right, I'm kneading this just a little bit to get the flour worked in. It's not a true knead. It's because, I guess it's drier here, I don't know, but this bread at home, I don't put my hands in, you know. I just have to stir it up. But here, I have a little flour left, and plus I want this bread to be a little firmer, where it'll rise better and everything. Okay, but anyway, we went up to Michigan to Mike Pratt, the Pratt families, we call the Hootenanny, last year. We went this year too, but last year, and this man named Stefan, he's from France, he's French, and he just knows all kinds of stuff about sourdough. He doesn't have a YouTube or anything, but it was great to gain knowledge and all. He brought some bread that he made, and it was rye bread. And I had some of his starters, so I'm going to be playing with it. But y'all, it was so sour, I was like, this is not the kind of bread I like, you know. But Mike Pratt loved it. You know, different people like different things. Some would probably be half and half here, like super sour, not super sour. My bread is not super sour. And it's because of the starter that I use. All right, I guess I need to stop doing this. I'm just talking and just doing this. All right, this is the way the dough looks here. This dough is going to be shapeable, and you can do more things with it. It's still a pretty sticky dough. At my house, it's very sticky. I couldn't pick it up like this. So, but this will still make the flatbread because it's still pretty soft, you know, and everything. So your house, it may do different. I had a friend that lives in Southern California, and she got a starter from me, and she said, Patty, this is so thick, it's like mud. I said, could you pour it? She said, no. She sent me a picture. It was so thick, but it was so much dry there. So she has to, so, you know, there's different variables that I really don't know about, you know, coast to coast, you know, how things are. So, okay, now, this, I'm going to cover this in a minute, but I'm going to use my little cute little thing like this. Let me think, what was I going to do just next? Okay, I guess I will go ahead and shape this dough. I mixed it up this morning. And you see, let me do this. Can y'all see this? I'm going to drop it. See how it's risen up? Like this. And so this is doubled, and that's what I look for, is to double. Now when you go to bake this bread, it doesn't have to be quite doubled. And in the sun oven, from what I understand, which I will learn from firsthand experience because I bought one, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to bake bread. And I watched a video before it came, and you put it in before it's not quite all the way risen. So anyway, so it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a little bit different today. All right, now this also came in the Bread Smart kit. This is a proofing basket, and it's got a liner in it too. And I've never used one, so that's a disclaimer. So it might not come out just right. So, but anyway, and I think I read that you're supposed to sprinkle flour in here. So I'm going to do that. And oh, I have the wrong one. That would have been bad. Okay, we cover this one, and this will be baked later. This one, I'm going to put it in the basket. It should take about another hour or so. It's getting warmer, so maybe not, to rise, and then it'll take about an hour to bake. So 9, 10, 11. So between 11 and 11:30, it ought to be ready. So if y'all want to come by and sample it, y'all welcome to.
So what are those things from?
Oh, yeah. This is called a Homestead wrap. And my friend in Mississippi makes them. Tommy, what's their name? Oh, yeah, no, her name is Katie. But anyway, they do sell them on the internet. So if y'all are interested in these, and she makes them there with beeswax and other stuff, but I don't know what. Anyway, they're reusable, and it's actually breathable too. And so, and Lewis, yeah, I really like them. So.
Email rap@aldermanfarms.net.
Yes.
WRAP @aldermanfarms.net.
Rap@aldermanfarms.net. It doesn't matter. Hey, everything at aldermanfarms.net will come to us. So, and farms has an S on it.
Rutabaga at aldermanfarms.net. But don't ask me to spell that for you.
Okay. All right. Another thing that comes in the kit is the. Y'all know what this name is. What's the name of this? Y'all tell me. A dough blade, right? Scraper? Dough scraper? Dough blade, scraper. I wanted one, but now I have one. Anyway, with this bread, you don't really want to knead it down. You want to be gentle with it. And so, I mean, like I said, I've done more kneading on this bread than I do at home. I don't knead it at home. But I am going to put a little flour because that's what I usually at home. I sprinkle flour all around the edges and I scoop it with my hands and then dump it where I'm going. But I'm going to try and use this dough blade. We'll see how it works, but I'm still putting flour just in case. So anyway, yeah. See, I watched this on a YouTube video and you can spray them all out. I don't have a YouTube video doing this now, but I'm going to try and get a little better at it. And so see, I'm not busting it all the way out. Let me see. Okay. Because see, it's already started getting the bubbles and stuff in it and all, so.
Nothing like trying something new live in front of the studio audience.
Yeah. That's okay. Y'all would forgive me if I messed totally up, right? And see, I'm going to tell you this. I probably should have put half of this in here because look. But it's still, I didn't deflate it all the way, so it is partially risen. So, but then I'm going to have to dump it into something else. I don't know, we'll see how it works. We might just have some dense bread today. We may not, but I won't do the same thing on the next one. I'll make sure it's fluffy. All right, so there's my bread. I'm going to cover it and let it rise. I don't always cover it. Well, at home I don't cover it when it's going to be a faster rise. If you're doing the sourdough where it's going to be a longer rise, it is nice to cover it because it'll the top will get kind of dried out, you know. And also with this bread, you can do it where you put some water in the oven. You know how you do that? Tom, that's me. You do that boiling water in the water in the oven. When you put the bread in where it steams it and it makes a nice crunchy crust, you can also butter it and then score it, and it makes it's so key. You can make it have a real crunchy crust, and that's really good like that. Okay, so now. Have I covered everything with the bread? I mean, I've given the whole recipe and everything. Okay, now, this is my sourdough starter. It's called a Herman starter. And Herman.
When you bake it, what temperature do you bake?
Oh, 350. Thank you. 350, and just because it's different places, check after 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes typically.
Thank you.
Okay, and I think I can stick. Oh, I can stir my, no, because I'm not going to I don't put metal in my sourdough. There's different schools of thought on that, but I don't. So I'm not going to stir my, that would be great to stir sourdough starter with though, I'm just going to say, because it gets kind of thick. All right, so this is the way I like to do my sourdough starter. Can somebody see? Let me see, what I'm kind of getting flustered here. All right, this is a lot of starter, so I'm going to feed it a lot, okay? If you had just a little bit of starter, which I have it on my instructions. I have an instruction sheet, how to rehydrate. I sell the dehydrated sourdough starter, how to rehydrate it. But if you want to just make it from scratch, you can go on our website. It's aldermanfarms.net. You can print this sheet out, and it gives my original recipe that I use.
aldermanfarms.net/ebooks.
But I mean, they could get to it. I mean, they just have to click through.
They have to
Okay. But it's on there. But anyway, you can print this out, and it gives you the directions for rehydrating this sourdough starter. And let's see. All right, now when you get to the first feeding, this is still on day one. This is if you're starting it from scratch, though. You would still look under here. You're gonna start with. I have 1/8 of a cup of milk, or that's 2 tablespoons, 1/8 of a cup of flour, and 1/16 cup of sugar. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of milk, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar. Okay, so that's how you would start it, and then the directions follow. I don't do the kind of starter to where it's a lot and then you throw some away, feed it again. I try and start with small increments where you're not going to end up having to throw any out. Okay. Now by day 7, with the packet, you should be able to make bread. It should be rising up pretty good. If not, take out some. You can make bread and add a little yeast. It'll have the sourdough flavor. With this, if you're starting it from scratch, it may not have the flavor, but you can still make bread with it, and it will still help you to have the texture and everything. Sourdough bread's a nice soft texture when you're working with the dough. But you know, instead of throwing that cup away, take it out and make something with it. And I also have this book, Sourdough Start to Finish. It's everything that I bring to the farmer's market, plus have a biscuit recipe, pancakes, and you could use the starter in that, you know, so you don't have to throw it away. So, okay, so this...
9 minutes till, 8 minutes, it's 9:17.
Thank you. Okay, so let me feed my starter. I'm not going to use starter. I'm going to use milk. And I'm going to use, like I said, I'm going to use big increments because I've got a lot of starter. So I'm going to use a cup of milk. And I do pour cold milk in it. People are like, oh, wouldn't it be better if you used warm milk? And I'm like, yeah, it probably would be better. I just, you know, but it works, you know, for me. It's working for me, so.
Do you use raw milk?
I do not.
Great question, thank you.
We do have raw milk, and I don't use raw milk because, you know, raw milk grows bacteria at room temperature. And I know probably that you're using sourdough. It has the good bacteria that should count. I don't know enough about it to say that that's going to be okay. If it were just me and Tommy, you know, I might do it, you know, but I
You
don't.
don't care if it kills me.
That's not what I was saying. And so it'd be a cup of milk, a cup of flour, and half a cup of sugar.
But because we're selling it, you know.
Yeah, I
we
sell
just
it at the
can't
farmer's
make that-
market, and I can't do that. And y'all, I've been out of milk before, and so I put water in it, you know. But
Did you repeat the increment of milk?
with the milk, yeah. For this amount of starter, I don't know if y'all can all see it. It's a lot of starter in here. For this amount of starter, I'm going to feed a cup of milk, a cup of flour, and a half a cup of sugar. But this is like over 2 cups, you know. So, anyway, yes. What kind of sugar? Tell me, what's the name of that sugar I told you to buy? I can't even remember the name of it. It starts with an M.
Marina?
Marina. It's Marina sugar is what I've been using. So.
She gets it at Walmart.
Yeah, I get it at Walmart.
It's a natural sugar.
Yeah.
It's not white, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's a bag of it in the car. I guess you got I don't think sugar cane is using GMO right now anyway, but it's not our organic sugar, but it's a more natural sugar. Yeah. It's brown sugar. Yeah. The reason ma'am? Half a cup. Coconut sugar. The reason the sugar is in here is because it helps, it's feeding it, and I don't know if coconut sugar would. I'm not familiar with coconut sugar. Look, you don't have to use milk, you don't have to use sugar. You could just do water and flour starter. And if that's what you have going at your house, you can make these recipes with it. Will be a little bit different of a taste. You know, I didn't put any sugar in the bread, but there's sugar in the starter, you know. But you don't have to use sugar, you don't have to use milk. I do this starter, it is very easy to maintain. It's easy to get it doubling up and the strength of it and everything. And so that's the Herman starter. If you've had trouble making sourdough, try this one. It's really, people have texted us and emailed us that they've had success being able to follow our videos and using this starter. So, yes ma'am.
What about making syrup for honey?
Honey, I've read different things about as far as like your long ferments and stuff and feeding it. I was doing it at one time, and I was selling the bread and everything. But then there's some worry of botulism growing in it because honey can have the botulism spores in it. I don't know enough about that, and you may say, oh, you sound crazy, but I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying I don't because, like I said, I do it for the public. Now, for Tommy and I'm perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with this sourdough without any sugar, which of course it does have this sugar in it. But, you know, I'm really liking the flavor of the bread. Yes, ma'am.
How often do you feed your starter?
Every day. If I'm, now, okay, we got to talk about that. Okay, yes. Okay, don't tell me no more time. When people come out here, I'll leave. We're gonna have to go over there and finish off. All right. I'm stirring this a whole lot. You don't have to stir it this much. All right, then you just pour it in here. And
So what kind of increments do you increase by? You started at tablespoons, and
If you'll go, I've got it on this sheet. If you can go and it's free download if you want to get it, or if you buy just a starter, it's in my little book. You know, it's there.
Patty didn't mention the other side of that page has instructions for making your own starter from scratch.
No, it don't. No. That's what it don't on there. It's the baking the bread. You get to make the starter from scratch. You'll just look under day 1 of the first feeding. I know. I thought that too. But anyway, we need to change that.
It's been a while.
But anyway, all right. Feeding the sourdough starter. Okay, I'm gonna try and make this quick. Oh, I just want to share with y'all too. I like to use this plastic scraper thing because you see how yucky it looks. You can just scooch it around because you want to know how much your sourdough starter's if it's doubling yet, because that's what I go by to make my bread, if it's doubling. And so then, now, and I got this really yucky, but you can scrape it down where you can see how much it's rising and everything. So, okay, now feeding your starter. This is something very simple that I have figured out because, like right now, it's just me and Tommy. My farmer's market season is over. I do not. Do you see how much starter I have right now? I'm going to be selling liquid starter over there at the booth. If you want to get some ready to go, it'll be needing to be fed tomorrow, or it needs to be refrigerated.
What are you gonna put it in?
I've got Ziploc bags.
Okay.
Y'all, my sister is calling me right now. She is. She's calling me. Okay, let me answer the question about feeding right quick, and then I will come back to you. All right, this is the way I have figured out to do this. Okay, all right. So you make bread. Okay, you're taking a cup. So you end up with this much starter. Okay, so you're going to take a half a cup out, whatever recipe you're doing. You're going to make your bread. Well, you're not going to need bread tomorrow, you know, or the next day or the next. So you put this in the refrigerator with a solid lid. You know, you want to completely cover it. On the counter it stays like this. You want to completely cover it. And then when you want to make bread, a couple of days before you want to make bread, yeah, y'all write this down. Take you out a fourth of a cup, 1/4 of a cup of this, and put it in a quart jar. And you don't have to use this big a jar when y'all start. You can just use a smaller, just get out a little bit. Anyway. Can y'all still hear me right now? Wave at me if you can stop when you stop hearing me though, if the train comes. Anyway, put a fourth of a cup in a quart jar. You're going to go back, and like I said, this is a free download. Go back to these small increments of feeding. And 2 tablespoons of milk, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, the little bitty steps. And then you're going to increase that. And let's see, on here, by day 3, you're going to feed a fourth of a cup, you know. And so what that's going to happen, you're going to be, so do that 2 or 3 days out before you want to make bread. By the time it's ready, if you have a good active starter, the starter has to be good and active to do this, okay? It's in the refrigerator, take out a fourth of a cup, start feeding it in the small increments, moving up as you're getting more volume. And by about day 3, you're going to have at least a cup of starter. Well, make your bread. The next time you want to make bread, just dip it back out the refrigerator and start feeding it again. When this gets low, take our mother out and feed it.
Nerve of that guy.
But anyway, that's just a simple way without having to have tons and tons of sourdough starter. Now, market time, this stays on the counter all the time. I make bread twice a week for the market. I make enough dough for 24 loaves of bread for Fridays, you know, so I do tons. I also do a lot of other specialty breads that I have the recipe in the book, and we have lots of videos on YouTube. We're Alderman Farms everywhere. We're Alderman Farms on all social media things, on YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And we have a special group, Friends of Alderman Farms, too. But anyway, so a lot of the different things I do for the farmers market is in here. I do some different specialty breads, all with sourdough. We also have lots of videos on it if you don't want to get the book. So let me see if I said everything I wanted to say. And if there are questions, you had a question, you were waiting.
You said that you have some dehydrated starter. Is it dehydrated at a low enough temperature that then you don't kill out the probiotic? Is that how you're able to dehydrate that?
Yes, looks like at 105. The lowest temperature on my dehydrator is what I do it at. So, and I have that for sale over there. And like I said, I'll dip out all this that I have
if y'all want to bring home liquid, and I'll sell it for the same thing as that over there for $5. So.
Whole milk?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, let me look right over
Well,
there.
she looks at that. Great question about the killing the probiotics and all that. Also, just to let you know, she has shipped this dehydrated starter to people. I don't know how many she's sold all over the country. And Amy Fuel in Virginia from the Fuel Homestead. I don't know how many people know Amy. She's been doing sourdough a long time, and she called Patty and said it was the most active starter she had ever food with. Now, Patty was a little bit surprised by that because where we live, it's good and active, but I don't know that.
Oh, and Mike Pratt in Michigan did the same. Oh, sorry, did I scare y'all?
Oh yeah, his boiled out over.
Yeah, so now we call it. See, like I can't leave this in the drawer because it's over halfway. Because when it rises, it's gonna come out. And so Mike Pratt did that, and so now we coined the term "it pratted." I think Alan.
If yours ever comes out of the jar,
It's
just
called
knows it. It's
Pratt.
pratted.
Is the level of sourness depending on the time you let the sourdough starter rise?
Well, I've actually did an experiment with that because I wanted the same thing. And with my starter, it doesn't make a difference. Mine is just not, I think it's because I have the sugar in my starter. It's not a super sour starter.
I think it's also partly on how long you let how often you feed your sourdough starter. So you've been doing sourdough for a while. Now ours, when we first started getting it so sour, nobody liked it. We started feeding it every day, making sure that the starter, and that helped.
Yeah, she's saying it depends on how often you feed it too. That sometimes if you like let it sit, you know, and not feed it, it'll get more sour. And they started feeding theirs every day, and theirs wasn't as sour. I always marked it up too, because see, I've kind of neglected mine before. I'm like, oh, please keep working and start feeding it. And I mean, but I have sugar in mine, so you know, so
we don't have sugar in ours, but yeah, it's also for some reason, whenever like right after we take care of our house, our sourdough does not work. So
yeah,
it's not like chemicals.
Yeah, my mama's house was a newer house, so when we built it, we put in a convection oven over there, so I did all my baking over there. I had kind of a hard time with my sourdough starter doing right over there opposed to our mobile home. And I think it's because it was new, and I don't think the little yeasty thing was in the air so much, you know? So, anyway. Oh, does it?
Just looking at it like that.
So that's good. Okay. All right. Also, I want to tell y'all this. We don't typically sell our little paper books on the over the internet because of shipping. And I mean, you know, I hate to charge $10 for it, but it costs me to have them printed. And so we only sell these at the conference. So if you want a paper book, you'll have to get them here. Also, our ebooks are on sale over the internet, and we have, if you would rather an ebook, and we have all of the little books that we do as an ebook. Well, not my aunt's cookbook, but you know, the little sourdough book is an ebook. And the discount code, because it's normally $15, the discount code, and these are, when we have sold them on the internet, they're 15, but at the conference they're 10. Discount code is off-grid.
Off-grid, one word.
So that'll be $5 off, so you'll get the ebook for $10 on the internet if you would prefer to get that. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say?
Yeah, it only applies to the sourdough start to finish book because this was his department was only $5.
Yeah, yes.
$5 off would kind of defeat the purpose of selling.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to remember to tell you that this is the flour I use. I love it. It does make a difference what kind of flour you use. This is Wheat Montana Farm. It's non-GMO and it's unbleached, and it really is great for making bread. It makes a difference because there's actually yeast on the wheat before it's ground too, you know, and everything, and it's not so processed that it's not killed all of the natural yeast in the flour. I used to get this at Walmart, and then they got me loaned it and they quit selling. That's how I found it. But I do order it from Walmart, and it's like $6.97, I think, for 10 pounds. And if you order $35 worth, Walmart drops it to you. So anyway, so that's where I get my flour and the salt. There's a few salts here, but you're welcome to come over to my table if we run out here and pick some up. And I think that was it. Sherry, is that all else that I need to remember to say? Yes, ma'am.
Are you gonna bake that bread? Is that?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
We don't. This is just a proofing basket.
Right.
It's plastic, And so I'm going to dump it out into a tray and keep my fingers crossed.
In theory, we're going to dump it out into a tray.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, any more quick questions? You can, but it may not be the same quality as this. It may be, I don't know. But this is, I've used bread flour. No ma'am. But see, it says that it's good for bread on here. So, all right, thank y'all so much.
Patty, is the second round necessary?
Okay, I'm gonna get right on over there. Okay, so we'll show them this way.
Okay, y'all heard Patty give her spiel here this morning. So we're sorry you can't be here with us. I'm sure we'd love to have you here. But coming up next, it looks like here in the outdoor exhibition area. And well, we're obviously running a little bit behind. The next one is making homemade toothpaste and deodorant with Linda Stitzel. So she'll be up here. She's already at the table up there, getting her stuff ready. And we will go ahead and do the same thing with her and present her spiel completely, what do I want to say? Advertisement free. Advertisement free. How's that? So, hey, we're better than the big channels on TV. So we'll set this up and let you all get back to hear Linda give her talk. I got a screenshot the name of that I just want to screenshot the name of the book.
I don't. No, I don't. I'm just
The white tent right before the yellow.
Yeah, so I can talk about it. How's that? And I'll need my mic.
You got it right here. It's on mute, so you'll have to turn it on. I'm just going to stick it in my pocket. That's why I wore this dress today. I don't know what's going to
Right now it's living in my fridge.
I want to, are you sitting here?
Alright, I have to go into the sourdough, and I'll be right back out. I found it. That works.
Manipulated so much. I wonder if it's
I was talking to my husband last night, I was like, we're gonna start making her.
And I'm gonna do a little testimony about it. So obviously, now, I don't like it when my coconut oil is liquid. But we're gonna make it work because it's liquid. Yes. I prefer it to be solid when I make mine. I make a very, very simple one that works real well for me, but if you go on Pinterest, there's tons of recipes. Alright, is everybody ready? I'm gonna turn these on. And can everybody hear me? Good morning. Second day. I hope everybody's learned a ton of stuff. Good stuff to take home and use, right? Yeah. I am Linda Stritzel. I'm not a YouTuber. I do have a Facebook page, so if you want to come follow me on my Homestead through Facebook, it's just Linda Stritzel. Look for me. I got 6 grandkids up there, so that would be me. I'm in Robertsville, Missouri. And I am a homesteader. I raise bees, and I make maple syrup. I'm blessed. My father and mother have 300 acres in St. Clair, Missouri, loaded with maple trees. So every year we go out and we tap trees, and I cooked 500 gallons of sap last year over a fire. It's 40 to 1. So when you make maple syrup, or if you go purchase maple syrup, you'll know why it's so expensive. 40 gallons makes 1 gallon. So it's a lot of work, a lot of wood, a lot of time. I generally start about 5 o'clock in the morning with my fire to get it nice and hot. And I finished the first batch this year at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I do can it. And then I never filter my syrup. The syrup will settle and you'll get a resin on the bottom of it. It's called sugar sand. And once it settles, then I go back and pour it off again to get rid of the sugar sand off the bottom of it. You don't have to because I can it. And then it makes it clearer, and then you don't have the settlement in the bottom of your jars. But I take that sugar sand and I feed it to my bees. So it doesn't go to waste. Everything I try to do, I try to use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. So I really enjoy doing these things, and I do them for my family, my grandkids. My parents are still alive, so they get a lot of the benefits from it also. I am a chicken person. I have chickens. I've been doing chickens for about 10 or 15 years. Canning, fermenting. I did the fermentation class yesterday. Just try to live as resourceful as you can. I was talking to some ladies earlier today, and we were talking about how can you do it all in your space. I don't. I barter a lot. I have a local family that's a 5-generation farm. They raise beef. They do grass-fed organic, and they do grain-finished. And I sell beef for her. It's really easy. Everybody eats beef, right? So it's really nice in your community if you can co-op and help other people. It's a great resource to do some of the things you can't. You might not be able to raise cattle, but you might live in an area where somebody does. So you can help them out by saying to somebody else, hey, I have a local farmer who raises beef. Would you be interested? And then you can benefit from that. I have a lady who butchers chickens, and she always needs hands on deck when it comes to butchering chickens. We usually do about 100 to 150 a day. There's 5 of us that do it together, and we're usually done cleaning up, bagged, and in the refrigerator by 12:30 or 1. And we usually don't start till about 6:30 or 7, so that's a pretty quick process. We have a great system for cleaning chickens, but I don't work for money, I work for chickens. So that day I usually go home with 5 or 6 chickens in my hand. By the end of summer, I usually have 15 to 20 in the freezer. So it's a few hours of your day, maybe 5 days through the whole summer, and I've got my chickens for a long time. So, and then I know where they're from. I know that they've been treated properly. Local farmers markets. If you can't grow something, I'm horrible at growing tomatoes, and I just can't do it. But I have a lot of people around me that grow some beautiful tomatoes, so I just purchase them at the farmers market. Try to, stay with my organic buddies, and then you're helping them, and they're helping you. So today I wanted to talk about being a little bit more resourceful in making deodorant and toothpaste. I'm going to use my iPhone just because the internet down here has been really bad, but I looked up some things last night that I found were very interesting on toxins in the body. So, I mean, we've heard about deodorants and different things, the aluminum and different things that are in them. They're just not healthy for your body. And the largest organ on your body is your skin. So one of the things that I read last night that I found was very interesting. It takes 26 seconds for chemicals to enter your bloodstream on your skin. 26 seconds. So lather up with that sunscreen, and within 26 seconds, it's already in your bloodstream. All those chemicals that are in there that they use to preserve or whatever, we're getting them. I thought that was crazy. 90% of shampoo, beauty products contain harsh chemicals. Your skin scalp absorbs 60% you put on it, and anything you put in your skin is absorbed in your bloodstream in 26 seconds. A law was passed in 1938 on what companies can put it in their chemicals in their beauty products. 1938. There's not much revisement there. Sorry about that. Approximate number of chemicals banned or restricted for use in beauty and personal care products. Europeans, it was 1,500. 1,500 chemicals were restricted. Canada, 800. United States, 11. So we're just surrounded by the air. So what you can do to help yourself is to find some simple things. When you start using your own deodorant, you might think, I'm going to stink, I'm going to sweat. But a lot of times, and it possibly could happen to you, once you quit using those harsh chemicals and you get those toxins out of your body, once you start using your own deodorant, you're not going to stink. A lot of the things that is in your body that's causing you to smell is the toxins. And you're blocking them from coming out by putting all these antiperspirants on them. This is just food for thought. We'll see if I had anything else. All right, I'm not really good at pronouncing these great big words, but I'm going to give you some of these chemicals that is in our everyday things, the deodorants and toothpastes and things like that they say are horrible for you. A lot of it's colorings, the food colorings. It says the DNC color, blue, all your sodium lauryl sulfates, the BHA, BHT, formaldehydes. These are just, I don't know what these letters stand for, but I'm going to give them to you. The MEAs and the DEAs and the TEAs. Those are paraffins. Those are all things that's in almost everything that we purchase because they're preservatives. They want to preserve everything to give it the longest shelf life possible. So I'm going to give you a really, really simple recipe, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a testimony on this recipe. And it's kind of personal, but I'm going to share it because I think it's really important to do these things. My family has something called tori. It's bone in your mouth. It grows, and it's never caused me any problem because I've had it since I was born. But it continues to grow in your mouth. Dentists hate it because you can't get x-rays. They don't fit in there because the bone is all down in the bottom of underneath my tongue. And I had slivers of bone coming out And it was painful. And I was thinking, ugh, they're gonna cut my gums open, they're gonna take a chisel and they're gonna cut all, that's how they get rid of taurine. So I started doing homemade toothpaste and oil pulling, and I healed it. It actually pulled itself out on its own. It went away, and I've not had any problems with it since. So that's just a little testimony on what homemade toothpaste can do for you. I don't know if anybody here has taurine, but it will heal your mouth. Gum disease, cavities, these are all things that you can actually help heal yourself. I do suggest going in, and I like Pinterest. I think it's like the biggest conglomeration of information that a woman or men can use to go find out different things. And I get a lot of my recipes off of Pinterest. Like I said, the one we're going to make today is super, super simple. Trying to think of anything else I wanted to talk about toxins. If you have any questions, you can ask me. But today I'm going to do the toothpaste first. There are a lot of them that uses the bentonite clay. I think it's like a binder and it helps cleanse the teeth. It has some medicinal principles to it. I like using coconut oil. This is my go-to. It's coconut oil and baking soda. 2 products. Then I use essential oils to also help combat antibacterial. I like a thieves oil, which has a combination of cinnamon, clove, let's see what's in this one. Orange peel, clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary. I like to use this for my, do you remember years ago when you went to the dentist and they did things to your mouth and you tasted this funky, clovey taste? I have a feeling back then that was part of what they were using as an antiseptic. This is the brand on this one is doTERRA, and it's a very clean line. And this one is called On Guard. But you can. There are a lot of companies that sell what they call thieves oil, and so you can kind of look and see. This one here uses pretty clean products, so I like it. Oh, here's one. This is Nature's Truth. It's called Four Thieves, and I use this one also. So I like my toothpaste a little strong. If you don't like it so strong, you can cut back on the drops. And I also combine oils for my toothpaste. So today I'm going to do Spearmint Thieves in this one. Like I said, I like using coconut oil that's solid. It's so much easier for me to mix up. But you just take a jar, and it's equal portions of coconut oil and baking soda. So we'll do the baking soda first, and I usually make about 4 tablespoons of equal parts at a time because I like to switch my toothpaste up, and I don't have a whole tube to go through then. So if I want an orange oil toothpaste, I can do that, or if I want a peppermint or a spearmint, I'm going to use up those 4 tablespoons or the 8 tablespoons quicker than I will a whole tube of crust or whatever. There are other ones too that have turmeric in it. Turmeric is a whitening agent. So I have a special toothbrush that I use for my turmeric powdered toothpaste that I use because my toothbrush is yellow, very yellow. The turmeric stains it. So I like to use my wet ingredients or my dry ingredients first. And so just kind of measure out 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons, whatever you want to use, into your container. I have a little tiny glass jar that I think those sample jellies came in at one time. It's a little one, which is great. If my toothbrush fits right in it. So you want something that you can, and I don't share my toothpaste with my husband. He has his own and I have my own because we're dipping in it. So, and then just, you're going to put, the equal portions. Now I'm wondering, and somebody else might be able to tell me this, liquid to solid, I think I'm going to need a little more liquid than I did solid. Mix it up. It will harden. It'll get hard in here after it sits, because you'll use less of it that way than you will when it's just pretty runny. But you can actually, how many of you as kids had your mom and dad had you go brush your teeth with baking soda? Anybody? there was 4 of us, and Mom and Dad would put a box of baking soda in the bathroom, and we used baking soda to brush our teeth with a lot of the time. And then I'm going to put about 4 drops. This is a very strong one. I get this from the Get Mint Trading Company, and it's a really, really nice one. I'm going to put 4 drops of spearmint oil in there.
Is that for flavoring?
This is, no, spearmint is a medicinal oil also that fights bacteria infection. It's cleansing, so so is the coconut oil. Has tons of medicinal purposes to it, antibacterial. The oil pulling, we'll talk a little bit about that too. And then I'm going to use 10 drops of the On Guard, just because it has all of those oils in there. And like I said, I like for mine to be a little stronger. Okay, so that's it, guys. Put it in your bathroom and use it. Now I will tell you also that if you like your toothpaste sweet, it doesn't bother me anymore. I've been doing this for quite some time, so it doesn't bother me that it's not sweet. The oils give you the flavor. But if you like your toothpaste to be a little bit sweet, you can add the xylitol, or I actually harvest my own stevia. So I have a stevia plant, and I dehydrate it, get it really, really, really dry, and then I put it in my, it's a coffee grinder, but I have one for coffee and one for herbs, and I use it to grind my flaxseed and things like that. You can put a pinch of stevia in your toothpaste. So I'm not going to, because I really don't like my toothpaste sweet, and I'm going to use this. But you can, I feel like the dehydrated stevia is super sweet. You're going to use a pinch. You know, kind of experiment. I feel like this stevia, when you do it this way, if you can buy a stevia plant in the spring when the plants are all coming out from your local farmer or from your local nursery. Did you see Stacy had her big stevia plant out here yesterday? It's so awesome to just go pick the leaves off of it. You can actually just take the leaves off the stevia plant and put them in your sun tea, or put them in your lemonade, or you know, you can steep them a little bit and pull out some of that sweetness. But it's kind of a no-brainer to have your sweetness. And those plants, I live in Missouri, so they don't keep through the winter. So I like to put mine in a pot, and then I can bring it in the late fall before the frosts hit. And I can have stevia in my house all winter long, and it's clean. So that is it on the toothpaste. I'd like to say that's a little more sophisticated than that, but it's not. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about oil pulling for your dental hygiene right now. Does anybody do pulling? Awesome. Oil pulling is taking, I don't know how you ladies do it, but I use my toothpaste. I already got the oil in my mouth, and it's just baking soda and essential oil. So I take my toothpaste after I'm done brushing my teeth, and I don't spit it out yet. I swish, 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 for at least a minute if you can. You're gonna get kind of tired. You're gonna be like, how much longer do I need to swish? But swish. It pulls all the bacteria and the infections from under your gums and in your mouth out. That oil will pull and come out of your mouth, underneath your gums. Do not swallow it. You got a whole bunch of bleh in your mouth at this point, because not only did you brush your teeth and get the gook off of it from your teeth, you got underneath your gums, you got in between your teeth with that oil pulling. The oil will actually pull it out from underneath your teeth. I've heard stories of people healing cavities and having dental problems, have their gums healed. It's great for gum health. So, swish for at least 60 seconds. If you can do it longer, if you go in and do some research on oil pulling, which I recommend you do, you can oil pull for quite some time if you can handle it in your mouth and not needing to spit. So, spit it out. And I'm going to tell you another thing about making your own toothpaste with the coconut oil. There's probably other ingredients you can use that might not do this, but I don't spit my toothpaste in my sink because it's an oil and it gets hard. and it's gonna go in your drain. So I spit in my toilet, just because I don't want my pipes to get clogged up. And you wouldn't think about that, but it's gonna keep going down your drain day after day, as many times as you brush your teeth, and it's gonna start hardening inside those pipes. So spit your toothpaste in your toilet. That's just something I learned. Has anybody got any questions about that? Yes, I used the solid. This liquefied out here yesterday. So, I mean, this was solid. It was solid. It got warm, and that's what I ended up with. So,
How long will it last out the counter?
forever until you're done with it. That's why, like I said, I don't like making a whole lot of it because I get bored with the flavors, so I want something different. I really like orange oil, especially in the wintertime. I don't know why, but I kind of feel like you're getting a little bit of vitamin C from the oil, the aromatherapy from it, so it's kind of therapeutic to use the orange oil in the winter. The turmeric in the toothpaste, that's a good question. I use dried turmeric powder. So if you're gonna do, I use a little less than I would portion-wise for the coconut oil and the baking soda. So maybe a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of turmeric. It's really pretty. To the coconut oil and baking soda. Yeah, so maybe 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon or a tablespoon of the turmeric powder. Turmeric is very, very good for you also, so it's going to have more properties in it than just whitening your teeth. And I thought, how can I put such a yellow herb in my mouth that's going to whiten my teeth? I'm going to have yellow teeth, but it does work. It's really good for that. So, yeah.
Do you ever do anything with charcoal? Have you ever
I don't personally. There are samples up here from Redmond that you guys are welcome to come up and take. There's the cinnamon. These are powders. I know Stacy in her cookbook is going to be coming out soon. She uses powder. She uses the bentonite clay, and she makes hers dry. She makes a tooth powder. So this is purified water, bentonite clay, xylitol, essential oils, and sea salt. So I know when she makes hers, she uses the Redmond salt. And if you go to redmond.com, they have great recipes on there. I was using their products yesterday when I did the fermenting. So I really, really like it. The pickle pucks and the weights and the system that they have fermenting is easy peasy. Anybody can do fermenting. I won't go back there because we're doing toothpaste and deodorant, but fermenting is really, really good for you. Also, we'll talk about this next then. Okay, so any other questions on toothpaste? Yes?
I missed it. The oil that you swish around, is it coconut?
Coconut oil. And you can do oil pulling with just coconut oil. You don't have to do it with your toothpaste. So if you want, you can just put a teaspoon of coconut oil in your mouth and swish. So it's important, and the longer you do it, the better you're going to benefit from it, because it's going to continue to pull out of your mouth. So, we ready? Yes? The Torai? Oh, a scraper? A tongue scraper? Sure. No, I don't. No, I don't. I eat pretty clean, and I kind of feel like what's coming out of my body as far as perspiring and dental work and stuff. Yes, that oil pulling is going to clean your mouth. You're gonna notice a difference in it. You really will. It'll help with bad breath. We have a harbor, an army of bacteria right here. I mean, our mouth is so full of bacteria. I do. You want to try to get as much of that out of your mouth. Like I said, when you're pulling, you think about all the bacteria and the bad stuff that's in your mouth is going to come out in that oil. That's why it's so important not to swallow that oil. You want to get it out of your mouth. Spit it out and rinse. So I actually do apple cider vinegar rinses for like a mouthwash. So you can just mix a little apple cider vinegar and with some water and rinse and gargle. People who are singers will use an apple cider vinegar gargle before they go to perform. If you're sick and you have a sore throat and you got all this drainage coming down the back of your throat, if you gargle with apple cider vinegar and water, it will come out. And your teeth? Yeah, I mean, sure, it's an acid. I mean, I use it. There's all kinds of controversy about it. I'm sure I can find controversy on everything I just spoke about today, so.
If you want to keep talking, you can keep talking. If you guys want to keep listening, I'm going to talk too in a minute. We can talk for hours.
You want to come up here?
Stuff.
You want to come up here and do the deodorant with me? Yeah. No, come on.
I'll tell you my recipe. She can tell you.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you do anything special to keep your toothbrush clean?
I just rinse it with really hot water. You can probably vinegar. I was just getting ready to say soak it in vinegar. I put it in vinegar and rinse it out and rinse it off. Vinegar is like your all-purpose everything. Hygiene, house clean, drink it. I mean, and you want to have the mother. You want that apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. So there you go.
We're gonna be talking a lot about this.
So stay here with me. I'm gonna do a deodorant really quick. Which we talked about the simplicity. My deodorant is as simple as my toothpaste. There are lots and lots and lots of recipes out there for deodorant, and Stacy will give you hers and I'll give you mine. I brought the bentonite play out. I brought some stevia because they said if they wanted to sweeten their toothpaste, you can use a little stevia. I use cornstarch, coconut oil, and essential oil.
Where is my
Yeah, it's not
here. It is.
Oh, good. So, once again, we talked about deodorants, antiperspirant, anti-perspire. It's going to keep you from sweating. We don't like to sweat, but we need to sweat. It's a way of cleaning our bodies of impurities. And I'm sweating right now. I hope I don't stink, but I'm sweating. It's a natural thing. And I think that we've come accustomed to trying to keep ourselves from having that happen. I guess it's not pleasant, maybe not pleasant for other people, but I can tell you, you start eating right, you start getting away from those anti-perspiring things that you're putting on your body's going to get rid of it, and then you're not going to have those odors anymore. You're going to smell sweeter, your body isn't going to smell. So, antiperspirants keep your body from doing what it's supposed to do. You don't really want to put them. Then you put on top of it all the chemicals.
Yeah. Antiperspirants usually are aluminum, and aluminum is toxic
to our bodies.
And then it goes to your brain, and when it goes into your brain, it crosses the blood-brain barrier, and then you have lots of stuff happening from there, and you can't get rid of it. So it's terrible. So no antiperspirant. So none of that, the act stuff, all these things like the young kids like to put on, it's terrible, and it's wreaking havoc on your body. That's natural. That's a natural.
There are natural ones out there that you can buy now, and they're really coming out with a lot more.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you're going to use Secret, or you're going to use one of those other ones, or one that you're going to see that's an all-natural one, they have organic deodorants. They're not antiperspirants anymore. There's a deodorant and there's an antiperspirant on the market. One will keep you from sweating. The other one will help keep your body smelling fresh.
And make sure, like it says, no aluminum, no parabens, it'll say, and there's so many, you're right, so many more that are coming out with better ones. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, this doesn't work, I still smell. Because you're going to go through a detox. Where it's like, oh my gosh. Like today, I was waiting for this because I left and I didn't put my recipe on, so.
Just a little
I thought, I'll just put some of the stuff she does.
I'm a little pity too. That's why I said I'm a little pity too. I mean, it's okay. You kind of get over it. So let's do the deodorant. This, like I said, this is a really easy one. They don't have to be complicated. If you want to get it, if you get into doing your own health and beauty aids, you can do a lot of research and you can get a little fancier with them and make them a little, and try what works. What I'm making today might not work for you, or you might not like the way that the arrowroot feels underneath your arms. There are other things you can do. You can add a little beeswax. This is just some wax that I harvested off of my bees. And you can there's recipes where you can melt the beeswax down with a little bit of the coconut oil and the arrowroot. Mix it. You're not going to put the arrowroot in there while it's heating. Heat your oil up. get it all melted, the coconut oil and the beeswax together, and then add your arrowroot when it cools off a little bit, and then your essential oil, and then you're going to have more of a solid. It'll be more solid because the beeswax will give it that solid consistency that we're used to using. The bentonite clay the same way. You can use the bentonite clay in there. So I'm going to do my arrowroot first, and it's the same thing as my toothpaste. I found that equal portions work best. So I'm going to use two teaspoons of arrowroot. Arrowroot is kind of like talcum powder. Only talcum is bad for you. Talc will cause cancer. You know, if you're really hot and you're just wanting to be a little drier too, you can dry yourself off and just get yourself a little jar like this and put arrowroot in it, or cornstarch. I don't like to use the cornstarch, I like using the arrowroot better. And put it in a jar, and then take it in your bathroom and just leave it in there. And you want to freshen up, stick your fingers in there and just rub it on your arms a little bit. It will soften you up and keep you from feeling so wet. All right, arrowroot, and I can't remember if I put baking soda in that one or not. I'm gonna use a teaspoon baking soda. It won't hurt. The salts, and then coconut oil and your essential oil. I like lavender, or I don't use peppermint oils or you don't want to put anything that's going to burn you. So yes, you would not want to do that. Lavender is soothing to the sense. Frankincense. Go ahead.
The measurement for the arrowroot.
Equal parts of arrowroot and baking soda, and then I use a little coconut oil. So, I got a little towel out here. I don't want to stick this down in my container. I got some smoothies.
I'm sorry, what?
What scent? I love lavender. Lavender,
Not for men. You could.
Oh, for men?
Yeah.
You can use frankincense or cedarwood or patchouli
or bergamot.
Yeah. An earthy, I would pick an earthy scent instead of a
vetiver is a wonderful.
Oh, I love vetiver.
Vetiver is really
You either like vetiver or you don't. I think vetiver is one of those fragrances that not everybody likes, but I do like vetiver. You can mix them too. You don't have to just use one scent.
Yeah.
Good question.
You know, the regular antiperspirant deodorant will kind of give you, you know, I found from the regular commercial stuff that I used to use compared to this, over time, if I had a white shirt, I might see something, residues a little bit, but it's nothing like regular deodorant that I got. And I really don't notice it unless it's like a white shirt and I use it worn it for a long time.
The other thing is too, you've got that cornstarch in there, which is an absorbent. So you're mixing that coconut oil with something that's going to be more absorbing, and then you're going to put it on your body, and your body's going to absorb some of that oil too. So it's not like you're just putting straight coconut oil on there. And I can see where you would think your shirts would get stained from the oil.
Yeah,
it's not that oily.
And then also, like, things about the CrossFit.
Yeah, we were saying bergamot, patchouli, vetiver,
frankincense, it's a little more manly, cedarwood.
Yeah, all those are really good.
So I am going to use lavender. So I just like lavender. It's also calming, so I feel like I'm going to prepare myself for the day with a little essential oil. And you can I'm going to put 10 drops in here. You can make it a little stronger if you like the scent. You know, it's kind of like making your own essential oil perfume. I like to take my essential oils and mix them and blend them myself. I have a little spray bottle that I just use distilled water. I fill it up with water and put drops of essential oil in them. That's my perfume. Perfumes are ridden with toxins, chemicals. So
you can make your own. You can buy the little roller balls.
Yeah.
You can even put some jojoba oil or
Yes.
grapeseed oil, and then put
Almond
your
oil.
essential oils in there, and then you can just kind of roll them on and use those for your perfume.
I'll leave this out here, and if you guys want to come up and rub some on your arm or whatever, you're more than welcome to, and then you can
put it under your
armpit.
Yeah, rub it.
And yeah, just make it work. So yes.
Beeswax
Yes or no? Absolutely. I think it'll make it a little more solid. So sure, you can also use shea butter. Then you're going to get some benefits from the shea butter. Stacey has a recipe that she uses that she's going to share too. So I don't know if I've got your ingredients out here or not.
No, mine is.
Oh, she does.
I'm very easy with my deodorant. Doug uses straight baking soda with essential oil. So I have a little bottle, you know, like the little Pellegrino bottles. So what I do, because it has like a skinnier top, so I just put baking soda in there, and then I'll pick, like this time he has bergamot. I put a little lavender because the lavender will help it not be so, kind of soothe it. So I put a little lavender with the bergamot in there, and I just shake it up, because he doesn't like the pit paste, he doesn't like my recipe, he just likes the plain baking soda. So he has a lot of hair under his arms, so he just puts that, he'll just go, and then that's his deodorant. But baking soda by itself can be very, very abrasive, and I remember doing that in the beginning, and I was getting these knots, like nodules that hurt under my arm, because it just causes kind of inflammation because it's very, very harsh. So by adding the coconut oil, it gets rid of that. So what I did was, I had tried all these other recipes, and they didn't really work the best. I get just my coconut oil. I'll put a little coconut oil on my fingers, then I use the bottle with my flavor of essential oils, and I just put a little baking soda on my fingers, and I rub the oil and the baking soda, and I just go under my arm, and I can put that on, and I can be sweaty and doing stuff for a day or two, and you won't smell my pimples, because it works so good. But I just do baking soda with the coconut oil. So what I do is, I'll tell you, we'll go right into it. So I get this coconut oil. If you don't have a Costco, this is just really a great deal. And we live on grid, so my coconut oil always looks like this in the summer. So it's already liquid. But if it's not, you can just get a tablespoon of it, and all you do is you're going to oil pull. So what I do is I get a tablespoon of this, and put it in my mouth, and then I get tea tree oil, and I'll just put a drop in my mouth, and then I swish. Tea tree oil is very good to help with plaque and tartar on your teeth. It helps break it up too. So, and I oil pull for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes while I'm getting things ready, because what it does is it pulls out all the toxins in your gums. It just helps, and it also, if you're consistent with doing it, it will whiten your teeth. People who have had, like, if you feel like you have getting a toothache or maybe an abscess or you're having a tooth problem and you're consistent with oil pulling and you do it a few days, you'll notice that your oral health is like, oh, my tooth doesn't hurt anymore. Or maybe you can't get to a dentist in time, or, you know, just start doing the oil pulling and you'll notice that your teeth feel better than they've ever felt. So I always oil pull when I'm doing my stuff, and then I oil pull, put my deodorant on, and then when I'm done, I spit it out, and then I'll brush my teeth.
The other thing I was thinking of also, as far as the oil pulling goes, is
oh, don't put it in your sink.
Yeah,
spit it in the trash can.
I told them that. Just make sure that you spit it in the trash can. Oh, I lost it. It's gone. It was a standing moment. Yeah, I lost it. I can't think of it right now. It'll come back.
How many times a day do you do that?
Once, if I remember. You know, just like anything else, I may be really good for 3 days in a row, and then I'll forget one. Maybe if I know I want my teeth to look whiter, I do it every single day. And then, but you know, try to do it whenever you think about it.
I thought about it. I remembered. Okay, so she was talking about the deodorant and stuff. Once your body detoxes and gets rid of the stuff that's in your body that's causing you to stink, you're not going to smell. I mean, you really aren't going to smell like you think you smell bad. Those body odors will go away on their own. And then you'll just smell fresh from whatever fragrance you're putting on.
Unless you're done sometimes.
Well, unless you work really hard. I'll tell you what else too. If you eat a lot of garlic, you're going to smell like garlic. Yeah, they will. It comes out your pores, but that's a good thing too. So
and he does.
Keeps
and here's a good one for you guys. I was talking about 4 cloves of garlic is equivalent to like a dose of an antibiotic. So it's hard to eat garlic, right? So what I do is I crush it. I always put 4 to 5 cloves of garlic in my salad, and then I mix it up so that we're getting that in our diet.
And I had showed yesterday about in the fermentation about taking a jar of honey, peeling your clove. I like to crush mine a little bit, put it in the honey. Take that honey, fill the jar full of garlic, and you can use a little jar to start with. You don't have to do a quart or pint, fill it up and let it sit in your, I put mine in my pantry for 6 months, 3 months. You can start using it. You can use it right away. It's just going to have more medicinal properties to it the longer it sits. And then you can use it in your salad dressings. You can just take a little teaspoon of it every day. But it's like an antibiotic in a jar. It's so good for you.
Well, I had an Israeli man tell me about this years ago. I taught his son. And he says, like his grandfather, they had this jar going for years and years and years and years. So the honey garlic is just amazing. You know, you get it, once it gets to 6 months, it's starting to get good. But you can eat the garlic, you can have the actual honey. Just keep making it. If you can take the time, I would get a big gallon jar of it, because that's what he had. And it took him a lot of time. But basically, he filled that thing up because, you know, you're going to use it, and it really does work well. And the kids will take the honey easy with that garlic taste. They'll eat it up.
It does get stronger the longer it sits. I mean, it does get a little bit, it permeates it a little more, and it gets a little stronger the longer it sits, but I like it, so you acquire a taste for some of these things. Like fermented vegetables, you know, you'll acquire a taste for that sour, and you're going to want it. You're going to crave it. So,
okay, so
I'm good.
Well, yeah, we're just
Questions?
We're going into the next.
Oh, gotcha. We're done. Yes.
So do you think, I mean, I know you all don't dance or anything, but do you think I can keep with gum disease and gum stand, you know, go to that
Yes, preceding gum disease. Absolutely.
We're not dentists, but I would definitely be doing it.
I think it will help.
Yeah.
I do. Like she said, we're not doing any disclaimers on these things,
No.
but it does help.
No.
Anything that you can do to help yourself naturally, your body's gonna benefit from it.
Yes.
Do you ever do the bentonite clay, like to draw the impurities out before you switch over?
You can. Like I said, there are lots of great recipes. Don't just use the
We're
ones
going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about that too.
Okay, go ahead.
We can go right into it. You guys ready for homestead hygiene?
Yeah. Okay.
Linda? Yeah, we're already done. Okay. So we're just going to talk about things. Basically, if you can't put it on your skin, or if you can't eat it, if you can't eat it, you don't want it on your skin because your skin's going to absorb all of that. I mean, your skin, of course, you've heard it before, is the largest organ. So we want to put things that are natural. This bentonite clay is from here, from the United States. It's very natural. And this bentonite clay, if you're not getting it, I get it in big, huge tubs. Bentonite clay. It is amazing because I use it for bug bites, poison ivy. You put it on there, you just mix it with the water, make a paste. You get a spider bite, you get a tick bite, especially tick bites, they are so bad. You know, they itch for a long time when you take them out. And then I've had some, I remember years ago, that they would itch for months, 4 months. So I put this stuff on it immediately and it will suck it out. Once it gets water to it, it turns into like this super sucker and sucks out all the toxins. So it's wonderful, and it makes a great face mask. You can put it on your body and your skin if you want to pull out impurities. You know, if you want to put it under your arms or on your body or wherever. It's just amazing. Now, if you have older skin, like us, I wouldn't do this every day because it'll suck too much out, right? So if I wanted to do something just to cleanse my face once a week or once every couple weeks, I would do it. So, like dogs, when they're feeling sick, or animals, what do they roll in? The dirt, the mud, and the dirt. So this is basically the same thing. So when you give your whole body like a clay bath, it pulls out the impurities. So something like this, if you want to go ahead and put it all over your body, make it a paste, and then take a bath, you can do that too.
I'm going to add to this about the bentonite clay. She was talking about the body and pulling the toxifications out of it. Something I really enjoy doing. It sounds like it would be a hard regimen to get into, but once you start doing it, you're going to feel amazing. And I love doing it in the wintertime. Is body brushing. You can buy you can buy body brushes. I know Walmart even carries them. It literally takes, I can actually body brush my whole body within probably a minute and a half. Once you start doing body brushing, you kind of want to linger because it just feels so good, but you do want to, I will tell you how I do it, but you do want to go in and do some YouTube videos and watch some body brushing because then you'll learn your techniques. I like starting at the top. Body brushing pulls toxifications out of your body like crazy. It's a wonderful thing to do. In the wintertime, I never have to put lotion on. Body lotion, because I'm getting all the dead skin off of my body by body brushing, and I'm improving circulation, I'm improving my own natural skin oils. So, but you know, yes. Yes. Wonderful.
Because you know why? When you do dry, if you're understanding what it is, and you then make sure that you're getting a natural bristle brush. Don't get a plastic bristle brush. It's like those wooden brushes that have a natural
those soft natural bristles.
And you get what you want. Some of them have the long handles. I like the one with a littler handle. But basically, when you're brushing, you always want to brush up towards your heart. And what it does is it's going to clean your lymphatic system, and your lymphatic system is like garbage man of your body, and it's going to get rid of the toxins. So as you're dry skin brushing, you're brushing, and it's going to help exfoliate, it's going to help your metabolism. Like Linda was saying, you get that tingly feeling, it feels amazing. And you're going to just brush all the way up towards your heart, and then it's amazing what it can do. So people who are in a wheelchair, people who can't get around too much, this is an amazing thing to do the dry skin brushing.
For circulation, too.
Circulation, it's just amazing. So I can't say enough about it. And you're right, I do it a lot more in the winter. And then when you're done, you can take a bath.
Shower.
If you don't want to take a shower, just kind of rinse it off so you can rinse off the stuff. And then go from there. And if you forget, then you do the next day.
Yes, it's not something that you know, or if you get halfway through, I've had questions like this before, you get halfway through it and you didn't go in the right order, is that going to cause your body to be sick? No, don't freak out about it. But you do want to dump, you want to go towards your heart, and you also want to go towards your pits. You have dump stations here and you have dump stations here. So when you're brushing from your feet, you want to come up and you want to dump. And when you're coming,
I'll be like, we're like Stuart. Are you ready?
Come from your feet and you're gonna dump.
And then you keep brushing. And then these areas you want to really brush. And when you brush, each area go 5 to 7 strokes.
Yes.
So when you're brushing, you brush a few times.
Around your wrist,
brush a few times.
your hand,
brush
your hand.
Do a lot here, and then you go for women. You're gonna go
forward.
You know, like here, go all the way around.
Around your breast to your
You don't have to do your face. You can do like the neck down or the feet up.
It's really important for women if you're gonna go out to your armpits, underneath your neck. You really want to brush your neck, but always pull, like you said, Stacey was saying, towards your heart or your armpits or your dump stations. Yes. You can. You're fine.
You can. It's not. They just say, I know it's just not necessarily required.
It does make your skin feel good. It does. It exfoliates the skin stuff.
You have to have a nice brush. If you have a really harsh brush, that's the only reason I think, because it could be too harsh on your face. Yeah. I would get a softer brush for my face.
Are you using something with the brush?
No.
Nope.
But we kind of went from the bench and I read
Right.
brushing. I'm like, are we using the bench?
Nope.
So some people use essential oils. If you want the smell, you could.
So what type of brush do you look for when you're
A natural bristle brush. Say that 3 times fast. A natural bristle brush.
And then go ahead and try it and see how it feels, because some of them are different. And the good thing about the natural bristle brush is like the say it again. The natural bristle brush is that they can wash. You can wash them with soap and water. And they wash really well.
Something else I have found out, when I first started doing body brushing, I wanted a soft, tender brush. But since I guess I've got tough skin, but since I've been body brushing for quite a while, I actually like the firmer brushes now.
Yeah. It's just like taking a cold shower.
Yep, right? But you know, that's really important too, is making sure that you do rinse your body afterwards, because you've got all the dead skin cells and the impurities that you've just pulled out of your body. You want to get them off.
But it's these simple things. People think this stuff is like, hocus pocus. These things really work, because we want our lymph. Because right now, unfortunately, in our day and age, the Industrial Revolution, everything going on, we have bad stuff in the skies, we got pollution, everything going on, the foods that we're eating. You have a lot of toxic stuff inside of us. So the things that we can do to be very proactive can help so much so that your body can function as a whole working, wonderful unit. And dry skin brushing is a very cheap, easy way to get a detox out of you. It's amazing.
Is it better like morning or evening to dry brush?
Whenever you take the time, I will.
The only thing is at night, it's going to stimulate you a little bit more. Like you might keep you up. I would do it more in the morning or during the middle of the day, or maybe dinner time. Yeah. Actually, same question.
I like to do it in the evening also, and I put Epsom salts in my tub. And I mean, I'll rinse off and then take a bath.
That's a great idea.
So I put a little lavender, and oils in there with my Epsom salts, and take that just a little step further. And then I'm getting the magnesium also.
Yeah. So how many of you guys are doing anything with Epsom salts now? That is amazing, because probably one of the things that people are avoiding is magnesium. Magnesium is in charge of like almost every single thing going on in your body, and all of us, if maybe we increase our magnesium in our body, might notice aches and pains are going away, noticing that I'm not getting cramps anymore, noticing that my brain fog is going away, just your health overall. I mean, it's amazing what magnesium can do. There is a book, her name is Dr. Carolyn Dean, D-E-A-N. She is the foremost person about magnesium. It's a great book. It's called The Magnesium Miracle. And you would be shocked at if you wouldn't do anything else and you just really upped your magnesium, it helps you relax, it helps you to sleep. So taking this before bedtime, it really is an amazing thing to start adding to your regimen. So for me, I don't have access to a lot of water, so I try, Doug and I'll get my little foot bath, and I do a foot bath with the magnesium, because your body really pulls a lot from your feet, and it will help to relax you too. So magnesium is great to start adding into your diet and to your beauty regimen too.
Fruits and vegetables.
Your leafy greens are going to be crazy. And also, I'm a big advocate for sardines. Sardines are like the superest food of all. People think they're gross, but there's different kinds of sardines, some with the head, some without the head. They have the skin off of them, they have their boneless, some of them are big, some of them are little. They have them in oil, they have them in lemon juice. Try different ones. Sardines are so high in magnesium and selenium and calcium. I mean, they're like one of the highest in calcium. They are so good for you. And I use them, I put them on I make like an arugula tomato sardine pizza. I put them in your eggs. They're good with pasta, they're good with cheese. They're so good. I make fish tacos with them. They're really, really good. And they're like a superfood. And they're
Scour
low.
sardines.
Yeah. Awesome. That's a good brand too.
Yeah.
And they're low in mercury and heavy metals because they're little bitty fish. So right now, Doug and I don't do any big fishes because our oceans are really toxic dumps. So I use sardines for everything. You can cook them up. I do lemon and butter, put them on a plate. I mean, they're great. Yes?
Is herring basically the same as sardines?
They're just very salty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then you're talking about where you can get magnesium. All your leafy greens, your Swiss chard, your kale, all those are just super, super food. Spinaches and all that. Great.
Is there a particular brand of bentonite that you like?
This one's Redmond. This one's a really good one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's the price is good and everything. Yeah. Redmond. It's very, very good. So we all love the bentonite clay. Use it for so many different things, from the deodorant to toothpaste. You did your toothpaste already, right?
A mask? Oh yes.
Yeah, mask. So bentonite is definitely. So I have a few things that I use for my beauty care, my hygiene. Bentonite, I have a big bucket of it. I have a big bucket of the salt. And this is like the best thing known to man.
I agree.
You can do everything with this. When I guess I had so much problems with my hair was dry. And this is the best thing for a rinse, because once you want to go natural with your shampoo, your hair, it's so hard because your hair is greasy, it's terrible when you want to get rid of all the parabens. Because basically all the shampoos and things are paraben products, and they have petroleum and things. And so what happens is it messes up the follicles in your hair, and that's why your hair gets greasy, and you need to wash it every couple days. Because honestly, you shouldn't have to wash your hair, but really, you can go once a month, once every couple weeks. You don't need to wash your hair. I wash my hair once a week just because it kind of starts to get that smell to it.
And you're working out on the farm too and sweating.
Yeah, so I mean, I could go 2 weeks easy, 3 weeks I know I could, but I once a week I just do it just to do it. But by using this for my rinse, it's just great. And it closes the hair follicle, it just helps neutralize it.
It does.
Totally. So if you have flaky scalp.
I've been a hairdresser my whole life, and I owned a salon for 25 years, and I used apple cider vinegar as my rinses. It was really good. I actually went and used organic hair color too, which was a process. But I can testify I used it on a lot of people in my lifetime, and apple cider vinegar is